Hey guys, Mig here with Caffeinated Gaming, and I played Sayonara Wild Hearts. It's a music rhythm game that's free on iOS right now, as long as you sign up for Apple Arcade. It's also $12.99 for the Switch and the PS4. So, just wanted to give my thoughts about this game because I'm actually surprised. I'm actually conflicted about this game. Sayonara Wild Hearts is a really pretty game with a soundtrack that's meant to be enjoyed. But at the same time, it feels like it was designed from the inside out. Or maybe the outside in is a better way of saying it. Because I feel like they put the production value at the forefront of a game that just has flawed music rhythm mechanics. And I can't shake the feeling that, from previous history and games I played before, that it should have worked better. Let's start with some of the positives. The graphics. Ooh. So this game's art style is great. It's pleasant to look at. It's beautiful. There's a lot of nice little details. There are several levels that play on the backgrounds and even change due to the song. And those are all designed really well. They have a pleasant look to them. And they just really pop out even on an iPhone display. But there is a problem. And this kind of goes into the controls. But this does get further exasperated by the graphic style. There's just too many like blues and purples and pinks, and when you're moving at such high speeds, you start losing your character. The controls won't help, but I'll talk about that later. And what happens is you just start losing track of where the hearts are supposed to be. Something that I'm a little annoyed with is how much memorization I'm anticipating they want you to know in order to achieve the higher scores in the stage. And after the single playthrough I had, it just felt like I was just constantly lost at times. And part of it was the backgrounds. This usually happened on the more aerial stages, as you can see here. And not so much on the ground stages, but I can also point out there are a couple like kind of gotcha traps that occur on these ground stages. They're just impossible to keep up with without experiencing them and knowing that they're coming the second time around. So it might be saying that I'm saying that it's difficult, but I also think that the graphic style and the speed that it's moving at sometimes is just way too hard to keep up with. Now, what deserves probably a nomination is the sound. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if this game won for Best OST, but at the very least it deserves a nomination. I can't penalize the music from Daniel Osen as a problem in this game. They all have pleasant rhythms. In other games, I can visualize these songs being very enjoyable to play. Stuff like Beat Saber, for example. I just feel like, on a fundamental level, this game got lost in the gameplay loop. But music was definitely not a problem. Music sounds great, whether you're wearing headphones or you're on speakers. There's a nice little effect that it has, and the tones that it deals with, and the fantastical rhythms that it has at the beginning of songs help immerse you into stages. So, just nothing but thumbs up for the actual music in this game. And a good thing too is that they don't do what other music rhythm games have done in the past, where if you let's say missed a note, although that's part of the control thing we'll talk about, there's no bah or weird sound that happens where you miss a note and all of a sudden the song sounds more distorted or something. You can hear the full song whether you're doing well or not, and that's also a good decision from them as far as that's concerned. Now, I already feel like I've been beating it to death, but the controls. Look, I'm not going to claim I'm an expert on music rhythm. I'm definitely not, but I've played so many of them in the past. I've played my Guitar Heroes, I played my Rock Bands, I played all the instruments across them. I played Beat Mania, which was like a DJ button set with turntables and everything. I played the touchscreen versions of games like that, like DJ Max Technica Tune. And I've even played games like Groove Coaster on iOS. And honestly, I feel confident to say that I could master this game, but I feel like it's all down to memorization. There's no skill involved in the game. It's literally just knowing where the path is supposed to go. And this is where it loses me on the touchscreen aspect. Touchscreens are just too laggy. Like they don't respond the way a finger across the screen responds even in Call of Duty, a game I reviewed before, and you can catch it on our YouTube channel. I feel like this game just doesn't get it. It like if I go left or right, my character is stuck between lanes. Uh, there's been several games in the past, like PS2, a game called Frequency. That game was like a on the rails music rhythm game, where a simple move left or right would switch you to each rail. And I feel like that's something that this game was missing. Just let me do one button press to get to the next line of hearts, and have me move maybe to the rhythm of the song, traveling across these rails. Instead, everything is live action, real time in the moment stuff, and you're just caught between lines a lot. There's also controls or as far as settings in the game that tell you about sensitivity, but there's only two, high and low. And high makes it actually worse than low. And when you switch to a controller, high has you drift a lot more as you're trying to catch these, these lines of hearts that are on the peripherals of the screen. And so I just felt like there's just a constant struggle going on with that. A 1 to 10 spectrum on that setting screen would have been greatly appreciated to let me detail it to, depending on what controller I have. In this case, I was using, I believe it's a Nimbus from SteelSeries. It's a okay controller. It does a job pretty much with everything else. But here it just felt really laggy, and it helped a lot more than using my fingers, I will say that. But this also leads me to believe that maybe the iPhone version of this title is simply not the best title. I definitely can't recommend playing this on touchscreen. Not without some frustration, at least. So, for that reason, my fun factor went way down on this game. I died several times as the game tried to lean into its speed and estimation halfway through that I would be able to make some of these jumps and some of these line grabs. I just started failing way too often. So at which point, the game actually fed me a feature. It asked me if I would just like to skip this because I found it too hard.
I will make your wish come true. Would you like to skip this bit?
To be fair, I think that's a great feature. A lot of people have been asking for that in games. It's best exemplified in a game like Celeste, I think. Celeste has an easy mode where you can just go and enjoy the story, but Celeste is also a couple of hours long. And it's one of the hardest games you can play in the modern era. Let's just say for this console generation. It's probably one of the top 10, 15 hardest games on anything that's out now. And so, why would this game, that's only an hour long in your first playthrough, that has no penalties for finishing with too low a score that won't even get you like a bronze medal, you still go on to the next thing. It doesn't care about that stuff. So why would it ask me to skip? Why wouldn't it just like maybe guide me or even provide some type of like auto drift thing so I can see the stage? Maybe take part in it in a different way. And I just leaned back into the controls. Like I feel like the controls just should have been better. And I've never slammed my phone down in frustration for a video game before, and this did it to me. And I thought that was nuts. I'm like, I got so upset with that boss fight. I'm telling you. But let's take it back though. The game is beautiful, has great sound. There's just some of these instances with controls. Maybe playing it with a different control would help. Maybe playing it on the PlayStation or the Switch would help. I think playing it on a bigger screen would help this game specifically. Just because there's a lot of things that happen when you scale down where you're just not able to catch things that's trying to telegraph to you. Like in the Parallel Universes stage, every time they did clap, the stage would change, but there would also be like little things like ventilation systems that would pop up on the road, And those are things you're supposed to avoid, or you die and you have to start over that stretch. Now, I just think that I wasn't able to see it on such a small screen moving at that speed. There's a lot of little gotcha traps like I was talking about before. There's one boss that's electrified, so a lot of the fences on the sides and the lanes in the road will get blocked off by these electric fences. Another thing that might be telegraphed on a bigger screen, but just isn't visible enough in the moment on a smaller screen. And so for that, while you can play for free on Apple Arcade, especially if you sign up for the first free month, you can get this for $13 on the Switch and the PlayStation 4. I think those might be better experiences. I just feel like I can see it even in the replays. This makes more sense to me than it did on a smaller screen. So maybe take that into account. If it's your only way to experience it, I would still say experience it. It's not a terrible game whatsoever. It just has that one big flaw that might, make or break it for some people, which is the controls. But that being said, I would give this game a 6 out of 10. I'm really surprised myself, guys. And if you want to contest me on this or tell me I'm wrong, please do so in the comments. If you think it was a fair review, please like, comment, subscribe this video to get the word out. And thanks for watching, guys. You have a blessed evening. Take it easy. Peace.